In a past video, I've asserted that ankle holsters, while not the ideal means of concealed carry, can be a very valid way to conceal your firearm if used properly. Stick around for my review of this particular ankle holster. Hello my friends, Late Boy Scout here, and this is my review of the Apache ankle rig by DeSantis holsters and the added-on Galco-made calf strap. Now DeSantis also makes a calf strap. I only bought the Galco one because it was available. Yeah, go check out the DeSantis one if you want to have the matching brands on your leg. I don't really see a need for that or a point for that, but if this one's more available than the other one, this one's been working just fine for me. Let's talk about this holster. Before we do that, we'll go ahead and clear the Glock 27, which has been the gun that I have been putting into this holster. And let's go ahead and put it in while we're at it. Before we do that, we'll talk about the actual holster part of the holster. That's the area that covers up the gun. How well does it cover it? Let's stick this gun in there and just see. Well, you might notice, by the way, that my Glock 27 is still wearing clip draw. Don't be too distracted by that. Full coverage of the trigger guard, and that's exactly what we need. And how's it look on this end? Well, yep, you can just barely see the bottom of that muzzle. But that's about it, No real exposure down there. Definitely no exposure here. It's a good full coverage holster. I really like it. It's exactly what you ought to have. Now, that also, look, if you notice, I'm kind of shaking that upside down and it's not going anywhere. That's because this elastic is good and strong. It's very strong. Once you get your gun down in there and kind of jam it, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't want to come back out until you purposefully pull it out. That's very good news. Very good news. You almost don't need the retention strap. You almost don't need it. Of course, it's best to use it and to have it, especially when it's so easy to disengage. Retention strap just clicks into place like that with this snap, and then to disengage it, again, just as easily, throw the thumb down and just like that. Okay, I've demonstrated that in other videos. Of course, you need to practice it, but it is easy to do. So the calf strap works very well. It's a kind of a nylon strap, that's all it is, with a little clip, or sorry, a little snap attached to the end. And the opposite end of that snap is a nice thick leather. Okay, this is nice and firm, and it doesn't bend and flop. So when you push it, it snaps or unsnaps immediately. Okay, you kind of need to use maybe two hands to get that snapped again, but that's besides the point. It's good to know that that's a nice thick leather strap there, because just all you need to do is just give that a little flick and it unsnaps. The elastic that this holster is made of is also stitched very firmly and very well to a much larger piece of elastic, which makes up the strap, or that is to say the ankle strap portion of the holster. And look at that. Great big pad of sheepskin, and yes, it works. It works to make that comfortable against your ankle. Now, where would you place this and how would you put it on? Let me show you that real quick. Here's the holster in its open configuration with the calf strap hanging down, and it does have my handgun in it. This is the way you want to start off. Don't put your handgun in after you have put the holster on, because it will fit differently. You want to put the gun into the holster before you put it on in order to get the proper fit. So here's how I do it. Oh, warning, I forgot to tell you. Yep, there's a little bit of white hairy leg. It's going to be in this video. Sorry guys. So you start by obviously taking that nice soft fuzzy side and putting it up against your sock. Then you wrap this side around, bring it nice and tight, and then bring the other side and obviously connect with it. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, these do not line up perfectly, okay? What you're going to have here is sort of a crossover like this. That's exaggerated, but that's sort of what the two ends do. Okay, they don't meet up perfectly. This isn't really pre-curved, if that makes sense. So it might overlap a little bit. Don't worry about that. It's perfectly fine. One of the key things you want to do is put this sort of behind your ankle bone, okay, which for me runs right about here. I don't want this gun right on top of that. That's going to be painful and fatiguing. So I want to bring it behind it a little bit, and that's going to be comfortable for all day wear. Now, here's the calf strap, and I'm going to show you how I use it. What I want to do is loosen it up first, okay? You have that kind of given some slack in the first place. Once you've done that, then you can attach it to your calf up here by wrapping it around the back, then bringing that piece around, and of course velcroing it together. And I'll show you how that looks as well. Kind of hard to see, sorry, but that kind of flaps open a little bit. It shouldn't be a problem. I suppose you could trim it if you needed to. I've never had to. It usually just kind of stays flat. And then after I've done that, I take this strap area, this Velcro here, and I cinch that up until it comes about as high as it can. Okay? Once you've done that, you're done. Okay? You've got the calf strap attached really securely to the top of your calf. You've got this attached nice and securely to your ankle. You've got some tension between the two parts, and now you just put your pant leg down over that and walk around in all-day comfort. One reason the ankle portion stays in place so well is it's so elastic. You can see me pulling on that. Yeah, so you can get that nice and tight and it'll stay put. Okay, and as I mentioned in that little demo, the calf strap is very important. This one I believe is made of a kind of neoprene, but it stretches and helps that to stay in place very well. Now, one thing I really like about this, first off, you see how broad all of this is. Okay, if there were like multiple straps or something, that would be far less comfortable. You've got one long, big, broad. How broad is that? That's a good 4 inches at least. Good 4-inch wide, broad piece of elastic, okay, wrapping around your ankle. Makes it hard to pull, which means it's just going to be very snug, and also makes it stay in place very well. It doesn't have that wobble that you might associate with so many other ankle rigs. It doesn't have that. It stays in place very well. Of course, once again, the calf strap makes a big difference there, but even if that weren't on there, it would hug to your ankle very well. And let's look at the Velcro. Here's the hook side, lots of it, and the loop side, plenty of it, and it kind of comes all the way over to here, so depending on your ankle size, you should be able to get that around you, no problem, and get it nice and secure. On me it only comes to about there, but that works out fine. Let's talk briefly about the calf strap. Again, it is made by Galco. I only picked this one up because it was available, but it works just fine. Interacts with that steel ring perfectly, exactly the way it needs to. It's just the right width. Okay? And again, I believe this is a type of neoprene. You can see that as I've used it, that Velcro has kind of frayed quite a bit actually. However, it's still holding. It's still holding after quite a bit of use. It's still holding, so I can't really complain about that. And yes, the neoprene is kind of fraying in different areas, but not to the point that it's going to give or, give up. Just to the point that it's got a little bit of wear on it, and that doesn't bother me really. So the Galco calf strap in combination with this DeSantis Apache holster, they're a good combination. They work very well together. One more thing that I wanted to mention about this retention strap that I about forgot about. Let's take the Glock 27 out of there. This is huge right here, okay? What you've got is, you've actually got Velcro down in there. So that's how that strap is attached. Which means, if it's not tight enough, depending on the gun you're using, if it's not a Glock 27 for instance, it happened to be something else, and you want to get that a little bit tighter down in there, you can do it. You can do it. You can make it tighter. There's the end of it right there. Okay? So it's got a bit of Velcro. You've got room for adjustment. You can make that as tight as it needs to be, or loosen it up if you've got a larger firearm. That's a pretty huge feature to know that it's adjustable for your exact firearm. Once again, I'll reiterate that I don't think ankle carry is the ideal way to concealed carry your firearm. Not your primary, perhaps your backup, but not ideal, whichever the case. But if you're one of those folks who feel like ankle carry is the best solution for you, I think this is going to be a great rig. That's the DeSantis Apache ankle rig combined with this Galco calf strap. Makes a great pair. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm the Late Boy Scout. See you on the next one.